So I was taking a look at, just the demographics of who typically watches, my golf YouTube videos, and it's definitely above 50. Okay, I'm 48 right now, so I'd be on the lower end of that spectrum. But unfortunately, what happens as we get older, our body gets more stiff. Okay, and I've had a lot of success lately working with my clients over 50 in just doing some few simple drills with the upper body that's really kind of unlocking and unleashing a lot of range of motion, a lot more power. Things are really starting to happen, even more fluidity in their golf swing. But some things that kind of happen as we get older, we realize we're losing strength, we're losing some flexibility. I tend to ride a bike a lot, so I'm in a position like this. So my hip flexors, my low back, other things can get a little tight. So some of it obviously is dependent on you and your body. But just in general, you can see here by the tape that I've got on me, if we can loosen up parts of your upper body, it makes a transformative effect in your golf swing. And I'll show you exactly why. But there definitely could be some things that you're struggling with in your golf swing that are not cooperating, they're not happening because your body simply won't let you do it. Okay, A, because of a lack of flexibility, but B, another more common reason for it, and something that people don't think about, is our brain doesn't actually control our body very well. So these drills have a double effect, okay, of you actually are going to get more mobile and flexible, more supple. Your brain is going to better connect with that part of your body so you can move it with fluidity and with consistency. And then also the third effect too is a lot of the drills, you're not necessarily going to hit balls right off. You're just going to kind of go through some ranges of motion and the understanding of how that's going to affect your swing and make it better. Then you're not going through that whole battle of hitting bad shots as you go through an uncomfortable swing change. So bear with me, I've got some great drills for you, okay? This first one here I kind of call just the marching man. You basically just grab a mid-iron. I've got my hands right up on top. My arms are just nice and relaxed. I take a little golf posture where I just do a little hip hinge. My butt goes out slightly. Kind of move my feet up and down just to feel my feet gripping the floor. But basically I just kind of move my pelvis back and forth. And you can see what's happening here by the tape is I'm going into trail side bend, lead side bend. And my feet are actually what are making that happen. And this is the thing that I'm really seeing with a lot of my older clients. They are so stiff through their trunk area. It literally just becomes like a block here. And definitely when they grab a club and they start to move, everything basically becomes like a one-piece block as they're moving. So there's no fluidity in these kind of different parts of the body where you're starting to see some separation, some lag, going into positions that'll help the club get into a better position just because of this trunk mobility. So you watch the same drill from this view. I'm just kind of marching in place. And as I'm doing that, I can feel my hips open, close, open, close, open, close. The great thing about this, you'll know, is, I've done these drills before, and at first it was hard because my brain wasn't totally in control of this part of my body. And that's kind of exactly how a golf swing feels. So I want you to go ahead and, if you would, just get right up right now, put your hands on something, a tabletop, a golf club, and just start to move back and forth, okay? And you can see in a golf swing, if I hit an easy one there, I'm doing that same thing. That's the back, that's the through. Back, through, back, through, back, through. Here's the club, through, right? Lead side bend, trail side bend, all initiated by the movement of my lower body. Let me just hit a little small easy one, just with that same feeling. But that marching man drill really helps to kind of get these muscles activated, the muscles that cause those side bends, okay? The next drill has to do with your rib cage, right? I call it rib cage sway, okay? So in the golf swing, our rib cage, if I just keep my pelvis nice and still, it needs to have the ability to move back and forth like this. And I'm telling you, I've done this with some of my clients that are 50, 60, 70 years old. It doesn't go very well at first. Once they've done it a few times, they start kind of moving the whole pelvis as they do it. They start moving the upper body. If you watch what happens here, I'm just moving basically from about my upper thoracic or just below the tape up. I'm not moving anything else. Okay? This occurs on our backswing, right? That's how I keep my head nice and steady and just rotate in just a nice, fixed point. And then this one here, you see how my trail arm goes right into my side. That's exactly where impact is. Okay, most people get this wrong. They think their trail arm goes in this way. Not really, because now I've got too much side bend and I've got a big backache ready to happen. So the way the golf swing works, it happens from this rib cage sway. When people can't do this, their head moves off the ball too much. Their head moves forward too much. It's just because they're lacking this little bit of motion as they go to make their golf swing, okay? So that would be the next drill, is just stand up, hands in front of you, privacy of your own home hopefully so nobody sees it, back and forth. Don't move your pelvis. You see how this side of the tape is getting closer and then this side of the tape. So what I'm doing here, I'm using the muscles, right, my obliques to crunch, 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 crunch. Backswing, forward swing. Crunch, start down, crunch, come through. So that keeps my head perfectly still. And once it's done right, you feel the muscles, you feel the fluidity, you feel the suppleness all at the same time, okay? So the last drill, and you see all these drills are gonna have to do with the upper body, right? If you like stuff like this, maybe you play in a place where you're a little limited on time because of weather, you can't practice all year long. I have a great program that I put together a few years ago called the Consistency Code that deals with exactly this. Many people love to learn like this. They like to just take a chunk of something, work on it specifically, get to know it, and then add it into their swing slowly. So the Consistency Code has many drills just like this. It helps this brain-body connection really line up. It gets you more flexible, more strong. Everything's very golf specific. You could take a look. There's some information down below in the description. Okay, so the last one is going to be with your upper back. Something that I've seen many of my students struggling with is we need to have this range of motion to where our upper back can, I'm going to have a club out in front of me, can protract, retract, protract, retract. When I'm doing this to other students, I see all types of weird gyrations, but not exactly the right one. So you really want to have this upper body mobility, right? This roundness to my back, that's part of what gives me this stretch in my backswing. So for those of you that are doing this, you need to kind of stretch this out a little bit, right? That's kind of it protracting. And then what's cool here, when I start down, that stretch gets really big. That stretch this way. So that's a big part of what connects the lower body and the club starting down, is this exact stretch right here. Believe it or not, just that stretch across my whole upper back. So that connective tissue attaches us from, our feet and lower body initiating to the club moving. People that struggle to do that, or they start down with their arms first, they're losing that stretch across their back. So just hold it out in front of you, reach forward, round your back, pull in. If any of you ever done cat-cows on all fours, it's similar to that, but we're just not doing it on all fours. Out, reach out, pull in. So as you're doing all these drills, you can start to kind of apply, okay, reach out, stretch it more, swing through. You can kind of start to see how some of that applies. Because, many of my students go, oh, Zach, I've been doing yoga, I've been doing Pilates, I've been stretching. Yeah, but it doesn't really work unless you know exactly how that stretch is going to result into you swinging the golf club better. So that's why I like kind of more golf-specific things like this. That's a lot of what the Consistency Code is about, doing drills like this to where you really isolate it straight into your golf swing, okay? Especially if you know you're limited in some of those factors. And like I said, if you're over 50, chances are you are. You're losing mobility in some of these kind of upper body ranges of motion. So keep working, keep fighting. Don't lose that mobility, right? It's really hard to get back once it kind of leaves you. And you'd be surprised, just a little bit of effort. It's not that you're that stiff, it's just our brain doesn't connect with that part of our body as well anymore. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get a lot of bang for your buck or a lot of improvement, right? Then you start seeing swings that are more pliable, more flexible, more fluid, things that we really kind of, look more pleasing to the eye rather than the stiff, you know, kind of golf swings and stiff movements that maybe we see sometimes out there. So I hope that helps you out. If you have any questions, write them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You'll get posts every week when I do a new video. I've got a great email list that you can sign up from down below, information on the consistency code. Throw a comment down there if you have any questions. I try to get to all of them. But other than that, I will see you next week. Have a great week.